Good morning, everyone. It's April 12th, 2019. I'm Eric. How's everyone doing this morning? I hope you're well. So, I have some headlines I'm going to cover, and I have taken notes, about 3 pages worth, about all the things that I could think of at that moment going wrong in our country and in part our world. Before I get to that, I'm gonna hit these headlines for you guys real quick. And I know I only made one video yesterday, and I try when I have a really bad allergies, and this is really the truth of the matter. This is really the main reason why I don't make videos some days. Yes, I'm busy, but hell, I'll be honest with you, I can take my phone with me and still make a video. It's because I'm having to stop and sneeze and blow my fucking nose and all that stuff, and I just don't want to have to pause and all that stuff when I'm making a video. I want it to just flow out of me. So there's that. Speaking of yesterday, I put a video up, one, and it was a little over 1 minute long. And it was regarding Julian Assange. Now, if Donald Trump doesn't let Julian Assange go, and he has the power to let him go, I mean, he had the power to pull those felons out of prison because of their excessive sentences, right? Well, he has the power to do this for Julian Assange, too. He has the power to pardon Julian Assange. If there's any one thing that will prove what Donald Trump is, it is his actions on Julian Assange. You might recall that Mr. Trump used WikiLeaks information throughout the campaign and was proudly doing so. So he would be a fucking stinking hypocrite, which he is, if he does not help Julian Assange. So, just wanted to say that. Alright, the headlines. Alright. A tragedy unfolding. This is all going to end badly. Central banks are trapped. According to Sven Henrich, the founder and the lead market strategist for NorthmanTrade.com, this regulation of the economy by the central banks is all going to end badly. Of course, many of the people who founded this country knew central banks were a very bad thing, which is why Old Hickory did not want them. Andrew Jackson. He called the banksters a den of vipers. You might recall, you Christians, the one and only time Jesus was violent, in the Bible anyway, which tells me he wasn't anti-violent in the first place, or anti-violence, rather, was when the bankers were using the temple as a place to do business. So, Andrew Jackson, it seems, was in good company. IMF warning to governments: get your debt under control before the next recession. I don't know how they can say this. We've been in a recession since 2008, 2009 time frame, and yes, things got a little bit better, but then they got worse and worse and worse. So I don't know how these people could sit here and tell anyone that we're not in a recession. We're in worse than a recession. And my list will show you this. Cataclysmic cyclone bomb wreaks havoc on central United States. Let me these things are going to cause a food shortage. They already have caused a food shortage. And it's going to get worse, much worse. So, man, if you don't have any food built up, I really, really, really urge you to do so. Because here in the next couple of years, maybe even sooner, food is going to be unaffordable to people. And people are going to start starving to death. I'm not fucking kidding. I'm pretty good at seeing into the future based on what I see around me. I'm pretty good at it. And I've been right on many occasions. I've been wrong too. Don't get it twisted. I've been wrong. And the thing is I will come out and admit when I'm wrong if I remember. Okay? And I try to be honest as possible. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I never lie. In certain circumstances, I absolutely do lie. It's to my detriment if I don't. For example, if I'm dealing with police, I'm going to lie to them. I mean, they lie to us, right? And I've already covered this, and this utter fucking bullshit. Julian Assange had never been arrested in the first place. The very fact this guy was arrested should be ringing alarm bells all over the fucking place. But is it? I don't know. Retail apocalypse amplifies, media ignores the debt catalyst. As the retail apocalypse continues to accelerate as we inch toward the middle of 2019, many in the mainstream media seem content to ignore the major problem, debt. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say I'm not in debt. I do have a little bit of debt, and it's little compared to most people out there, and I'm not even worried about that. They are my last concern. I mean, after all, they do give a lot of these loans out under fraudulent circumstances. They lie. They lie to get you to take the loan. Oregon's SB 978 gun control bill is so historically restrictive that pepper spray is a felony. Any kind of self-defense in Oregon may end up becoming a felony. Tell me what do you have to think about that? What do you think about that? Do you really believe you're free? Really? Because if you do, allow me to point out over here at the Free Thought Project, cops throw innocent 16-year-old down the stairs, punch, taser, stomp on her, then they lie about it. And when I was growing up, people would say things like, real men don't hit women. Oh. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you see it, this is not a real widespread thing anymore. And apparently cops are completely okay with assaulting 95-pound children. All right? But, if a woman comes up to me and punches me as if she's a man, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to punch that bitch right back. Equal rights and all. I mean, you can't only have the good equal rights. You have to have all of them. Just saying. Massive school cop picks up 11-year-old and smashes him into a concrete curb. You're free. Right? It kind of reminded me of this song I've just recently discovered, and it's a rather old song. It's called BYOB by System of a Down. And in it, if you're not familiar, it describes our country perfectly. I mean, it really does. So, if you haven't heard it, I'm sure most of you have, and it's new to me, okay? It may not be new to you, and you may not have paid attention to the lyrics. It seems that truth can be found in so many different places, and music is one of them. So System of a Down, they have a song called BYOB, and it goes something like, we're going to the party to have a real good time, blowing up the desert, dancing in the sunshine, and then it says, blast off, it's party time, but we don't live in a fascist nation. Blast off, it's party time, where the fuck are you? Now I have to ask you people, where the fuck are you? If you think you're free, where the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you? Just saying. Alright, on to my little, well, not little, big-ass list here. But I'm sure this video is not going to go too much past the 20-30 minute mark. Okay, as I've talked about a few times in the last year, the retail apocalypse. And these are trends showing our collapse and how quickly it's happening. Retail apocalypse is among these trends. Unsold goods. Let's see. Consumer confidence plummets. IMF changes its outlook for the third time so far this year, and it's been downgraded, their outlook. And look, I'm going to have a little bit of a hard time reading this because I don't type, or I don't write very much, rather, and my handwriting sucks. Oh, yeah. Widespread homelessness. And we see, with each passing day, more and more people across this country are becoming homeless. And it can happen to anybody. It really can. You may not have sympathy for some of these people, and you may not, or you don't necessarily need to have sympathy for some of them, because some of them put their own asses there. But some of them didn't. And these are the people I'm talking about. You know me. I'm not a fan of heroin addicts. But on the other hand, I don't think it's anyone's business to tell these people what to fucking do with their body. Okay. Widespread homelessness. The deterioration and failure of infrastructure. 500,000 plus jobs lost, roughly 90,000 part-time jobs created. The mainstream media will tell you a completely different figure, and if this figure is wrong, I'm sorry, but that's the figure I got from a couple of different articles, so that's the figure I'm going with. And by the way, these jobs that are lost, they will never come back. And if you don't believe me, take your ass to Flint, Michigan, and drive around there. Go straight down Dort Highway. A lot of plants are on that road. And tell me, did the jobs come back there? Then you go down to, say, or up to Saginaw, or any of these other places that relied on GM, right? They relied on GM and Ford, and as soon as NAFTA was signed, and Ross Perot called it. Ross Perot called it. What happened? As soon as NAFTA was signed, them jobs were gone instantly. And I'm not bullshitting when I say instantly. So they're never coming back, these jobs. You know what? I'll go ahead and put it up here. There we go. That way you can see my ugly ass mug a little bit better. Alright. Okay, the water crisis. My main problem with foreign aid is the idea that we have so many problems that are worsening in our own country that I don't think we can afford to send foreign aid any longer, specifically to the tunes of billions and billions of dollars. We sent Israel, I think it was $38 billion in 4 years, something like that. It's some ungodly number, right? So, I think, no, I don't think, I know foreign aid needs to stop. And I suppose that was the main reason why other countries have put up with the United States for so long, is because we have more or less just bribed them. So, let me see here. So, our Flint water crisis, and that's not even the worst water in the United States. They're allowing the infrastructure to deteriorate to such a point that it will never, ever be able to be fixed. If Flint really wanted to fix its water problem, do you have any idea what it would take? Well, I have a little bit of an idea, and if any of you out there know better than me, please do give me a little schooling on this. But I have a little bit of an idea here. The reason why Flint's water is so bad is because they use lead-lined pipes. So, through reasoning and logic, that would mean that they have to replace all of the pipes and anything that was lead-lined, and that would require digging up shit tons of different places, knocking down some places. It would require quite a bit, okay? And it's not going to happen. They are never going to fix those problems there in Flint, because Flint is a third world country, or it might as well be. So there's that. Okay. And by the way, only certain cities are actually first world cities. Just saying. Everyone wants to pretend like we live in this nice, modern, clean, modern country, but have you driven around lately? There's fucking trash everywhere. And when I go down to our watering hole, where we go in the summertime, it's a beautiful place. I have to take garbage bags with me, because dumb motherfuckers, scum, go down there drinking, and they break their fucking beer bottles all over the place. And so I have to take bags with me to pick up all the trash. And I do. I do. Oh, yeah. The growing inequality, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And look, I was here, I was alive back in the 70s and 80s. It wasn't as bad then as it is now, but that's where it started. That's where it started. We started to see the cultural clashing and stuff like that. The white hatred specifically. Oh, yeah. Another symptom of our, or maybe trend would be a better word, I'm not sure, but are the pension funds for public servants. And I'm not only talking about police either. These funds are dwindling if not completely gone already. I wonder how they are going to react when they finally figure out that their retirement is gone. I wonder how well they're going to serve then. Oh yeah, hundreds of millions of dollars so far this year lost in crops. Farms not flooded are still collapsing because of Trump's tariffs, with more to come. This time targeting the... Oh God, I should have wrote that better. Well, I'm going to have to scratch that one and move on. The chance of recession has doubled in the past 2 years, but I know we're already in a recession. It should be painfully obvious to everybody. Small businesses are laying off workers to meet requirements of the minimum wage laws. Continuing jobless claims are rising at the fastest pace in a decade, adding jobs at the slowest pace in 18 months. GM, Ford, Nissan, Fiat Chrysler all had sales declines 1.5 year over year, or negative 5.1 year over year. Many state, city, and court many state, city, and county governments are looking for new ways to find you because they're desperate for money. Okay. Tesla deliveries were down 31%. And I said consumer confidence, but that fell more than 7 points. Manhattan real estate is collapsing for 6 months in a row. Kay Zales Jared Jewelers closing 150 store. Layoffs 92% higher than last year. U.S. freight and shipping volume has dropped 3 months in a row. Inventory to sales ratio has risen. Half of all renters pay 30% or more for housing. And then, of course, we have the bomb cyclones, right? The uptick in national or natural disasters of all kinds. And even if one of these disasters don't end up being giant, meaning a civilization-ending event, perhaps an extinction-level event, depending on what that particular natural disaster is. For example, if California gets the megaquake that's expected, that will be a civilization-ending event. If Yellowstone erupts, which it is, it's just when, that is an extinction-level event. And by the way, we've already had an extinction-level event in Fukushima. It just happens to be one that is a slow rot. We continue to lose many, many species every single day. And the volcanic eruptions, the extreme storms, they are all increasing in intensity. Okay? First thing I'm going to say, this is social political division. Everyone hates Whitey. Okay? Everybody. And even a lot of white people. It seems like they fall for the propaganda of the leftists. So that is definitely a sign that things are going to get very, very ugly for all of us who are white. And by the way, it's going to get more ugly for those attacking us. LGBTQ. We're seeing more and more false flags and these kinds of things. Not only that community, but the people of color communities as well. You may recall, I don't see how you couldn't, Jussie Smollett. In my opinion, that was an attempt to create the atmosphere for civil war. Feminists, alt-right versus alt-leftist, or leftist. Many elected officials are hardened criminals. Hardened criminals, many of them. Let's see, what do I have here? Oh, now I should have mentioned this before, but household survey says the number of household workers in the U.S. has declined by another 201,000 workers. IQ points have dropped dramatically in the last 2 decades. I mean, that is, if that's not a sign of our collapse, I don't know what is. Individuals with many reasons report fake crimes and blame white people. That is definitely a sign of things to come. And the fact that so many people have no problem throwing trash along the road, people have no empathy for abused children or the trafficking of these children. And that's just a list that I wrote down in about 25 minutes. And I'm sure if I were to ponder this a little more, it would be much, much longer. And it's very hard to not be depressed by all of the news that's coming out. It really is. We have really good reasons to be depressed. And if you want to admit you're depressed or not, that's up to you. But I will be man enough to tell you that most days, I don't even want to open my computer and look at the news. I know one day I'm going to open it and it's going to be over with. And the reason why it's so depressing isn't my own well-being or even my children. I think they're going to be fine. I think I will be fine. But there will be so many children that never did anything to anyone that end up suffering horrific fucking deaths. And that, my friends, is very depressing. I don't really care about the adults as much as I do the children. You know, the adults have had their lives, right? And are at least in part responsible for the conditions unfolding now. myself included, but at least I've spoken out against all of this shit going on. Not everyone can say that. So anyway, until next time, kill the state, live free.